Neil. Hello, Merle.
Hello.
Hi.
It is really amazing having here because I'm from gaming, right? And seeing video game become a show with HBO, it's really unbelievable, actually, right? So, Neil, how it is to, after a long time in the gaming industry, and we know that Hollywood never looked so much to gaming in the last 3 decades, right? And now we have a game being made into a show at HBO with this size. It's really amazing. How it is to you?
Oh, it's incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, I think about The Leftovers, The Wire, Watchmen. All these shows are like some of my favorite stories of all time. Not just shows, but stories of all time. And to think that The Last of Us is going to be amongst them is such a surreal experience. And also knowing that, first and foremost, a gamer and a game developer, but knowing that this story now will reach a wider audience. And there's a community of people that really enjoy these characters in the story. And to see it kind of grow larger is such a thrill.
Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, David.
Hey, amazing having you here. And you know, Last of Us a show based on a game, right? And I'm from gaming.
Okay, great, yeah.
How is your approach in gaming? Do you play games? Actually?
I do. You know, I'm a 80s kid, so I kind of grew up with it. And my mom saved up a bunch of money to get a Nintendo, and unfortunately we lived in a bad neighborhood and somebody stole our Nintendo.
Really?
So it took a while to get another one. But my brother is really, if you've ever seen the movie The Wizard, you've seen The Wizard?
Yep.
My brother is like that.
Yeah.
He's just an incredible gamer, and I'm growing up, I was kind of the guy that will like sit there while he's playing Zelda and be like, go do that, because he's just kind of better with it. But yeah, I love games. I love story-driven games, FIFA and stuff like that.
Why are you so important?
Somewhere out west. They're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches.
Well, Marlene is a really complex. All characters in The Last of Us are really complex, but she we see that she is good, right? She's a good person.
Is she? I believe she is.
Yes, I believe she is too. But she knows that she has to do a horrible thing, right, to do the greater good, right? It is a challenge that humanity faces. Always, right? How it is to you to play that character that it is essentially good, but needs to do a horrible thing to do the greater good, you know?
He'd said something about each character being under such, incredible stress. And I love that concept of how, what really comes out when people are squeezed. And I think that's something that is wonderful character building storytelling in any medium or any project that you for Marlene in particular, the choice that she has may not necessarily feel, even to her, to my sensibility, like it's the virtuous one. I do think that wherever she is working to be honorable and working to do the right thing for what's around her and for the world at large.
If I'm taking you with me, do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way west? Yeah, go east.
This is a really huge story-driven game, right? Do you know about The Last of Us before they ask you to?
No, well, I knew of it. I mean, it was absolutely knew of it. It was it's difficult. You had to be living on Mars to not know about The Last of Us, And of course, I played it very briefly in 2013 when the game came out. I didn't have a PlayStation, but my friend did. So I went to his house and he had games and I was like, well, what is this? I put it in and it was exciting. I played maybe the first 30 minutes of it and I was like, wow, this is really great.
The first 30 minutes is really impactful, right?
Intense. So I just, and then didn't play it again until I got the job and I was like, well, I guess I should do my research.
This time, we've seen a lot of TV shows based on video games, and most of them are not that good, right? But this time, they brought you to the production to help with a lot of stuff. So I need to ask, how faithful the series is with the source material?
I think this will be the most authentic video game adaptation ever, and I think it'll be years before anybody catches up. That's how confident I feel about it. It doesn't mean we're copying it, because I think that would be a mistake. That has happened before, and I think people have made that mistake. We understand the strength of the story and it's what's fundamentally essential about its telling. What's unique to video games that you shouldn't replicate in another medium because you will fall flat on your face. It just will not work. and then how do we deviate and expand on it in this other medium in a way that we couldn't in the video game.
You play Tommy, right?
I did, yes.
And Tommy is he is in the beginning and then only in the game, right? And only in the far from the game, right? Yeah. Do you use the source material to learn about Tommy?
I did. I mean, I love Jeffrey Pierce and what he did with the character. I love his voice. I'm from the area that the game is set, so I've
Texas, right?
from Texas, yeah, I'm from Austin. So I just there's so much of the character that already was me. I did utilize it in the sense that just a little bit of the, you know, to me he reminds me of like a young Chris Christopherson, you know, and that's kind of what I went with the character. I kind of wanted to play him like a young Christopherson. He's a soldier, somebody who's been through hell as a soldier, been through war and experienced that, and came out the other side a different person, just somebody who wanted to leave the fighting in the past. And although he's very skilled and very capable of violence, he's not one to immediately go to violence as the first solution. But when the world becomes what it is, he has to absolutely utilize that skill set. So I just, I did use the game and I loved, but I also drew on a lot of my own personal experience. We were very similar people, I feel.
Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me.
You have no idea what loss is.
Bro, you played Marlene in the games, right?
Yeah.
So when you came to the production, I think that you were the only one from that knew everything about the game when you got the show, right?
Yeah,
Or
some of the
actors.
voice actors did come
Yes.
in different roles, but I'm the only character to play the same character in both iterations. Most glaring thing that threw me off when I first stepped into it, as I realized walking into Marlene, I always had Neil's like quiet in my ear, and you know, so and there was always this just I guess kind of knowing. So to communicate about and within Marlene in a different way without that kind of symbiotic, almost like emotional umbilical cord, was something that I had to recalibrate to. Also, actually walking her out and walking in her shoes rather than representing something that another artist would elaborate on later. A hurdle that I had needed to step over before I could immerse myself into the new genre.
I remember Merle called me one day and she's nervous about playing Marlene on the show. And I'm like, why are you nervous? You helped come up with this character. Like, this is such a collaboration. And we talk backstory and stuff, but she's Marlene. There's like, I can't see it a different way.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
In the games, Tommy is like it's Joe's brother, right? And they have a fallout this 20 years and they split. For me, Tommy shows that the apocalypse, right? Doesn't need to change you into a monster, right? Because Joe became this really dark person after. Of course, he has the death of his daughter, this really traumatic, but everybody lost people in the apocalypse, right? And Tommy didn't change like Joe did. Do you think that this is shown in the show too? Because in the game it's really clear when they two meet, and Tommy is not that monster that Joe turned into in the apocalypse.
I think it was really it's his nature, right? Mm-hmm. He is someone who has seen the monstrosities of war already. He's seen what humans can do to each other. So when these monsters appear, there's literal monsters. I think the story of The Last of Us is equally about the dangers of these infected and the dangers of just humans towards each other when resources are limited. Mm-hmm. And I think that he knows this. He's seen the worst of mankind, and I think it's already in his nature to be balanced in that way, in terms of how he responded to the world as it became what it becomes. So I just think it was already in his spirit to be that way, and I guess he had a greater defense against becoming the world. Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, David.